me just show. Now the summertime.
But, except for pickleball hour, yeah. We can post those hours as 2 in the morning and fill that the space is not pickleball.
Okay. Yeah. That's fun. That's fun, but it's fun, you know.
How do you act?
Okay.
What kind of stuff do you do?
Work is maybe a strong word. I do, the director of soccer operations club, so I do all the fun stuff. So like, you know, it's a soccer club. Our competitive group. We've got a tournament starting tomorrow at 9 AM. So as soon as we're done with this, I'll be, we're turnout and shoot, yeah. So yeah, I do either 3 or 4 nights a week and then 5 or so tournaments over the summer. Well, so coach, and I do a lot of coaching of coaches. With my referee and some all that jazz.
Yeah.
We actually have a team of girls that's going to be they won on state cup 2 years back to back. It should be every time. That'll be out in the suburbs a bit, getting some sort of big field complex in the hotel games.
Or during the study, we had to focus more time on the day and like.
Where also farm.
They were
Swap out.
Parks and back. And was looking for a volunteer.
There, I'll do.
I'm a part timer. Welcome. Site life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's the, yeah.
Big Wednesday and sold 3 years.
You know, had you.
That's like my 3 weeks. I've had that.
Hey.
What do you guys play? Like $5 a hole or what?
No, so you. Use $15 and then buy team. Game, and then long ride with $2.
Okay.
Great. Big Wednesday, double.
Okay.
And pay for your round?
I was on for the other one, the last night.
Forever.
Yeah.
That is
A lot.
You got your email, free. Right there, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and his team won. Yeah, new team awesome.
Don't need to go to something. I don't know.
It's like.
And you. I'm not.
There's chat time over and long. I don't like the jury.
I blame both. It is like, no, I know, it, like that. I've talked to a few people, so it's cool, like around town, and I can actually pay for stuff that can improve and whatever, but like, don't be a nuisance. Otherwise, don't get kicked out just for showing up. If you show up, you want to play, you want to start to speak about it, whether it's you or not, if groups like you, it's built up, other weeks to say, nope, you're not welcome. It's obviously better than like middle school, it was sacred in town, and like, whether on the shoulder seasons, like school, like, they'll just wander away from school for what they want for 2 hours before they can get home. Yeah, that was, it was worse, like that, obviously summer to summer, but it's good. What's amazing to me is also, it's like, I know for a fact you live, like, I know for a fact you live like North Forest, like, you're at a friend's house, you got a drop off from the bicycle in the middle of.
There you go, make my opinion.
Yes, and so.
Keep driving. Parents,
Dropping in.
I've watched the parents drive, they've gone back, and then the food channel. I've watched.
There was some update yesterday. Those things where it's like, yeah, I know you, but I know you. I mean, but not that they're gonna listen to me. So you're all in chat, you don't care. I know the kids a lot. But yeah, there were. Meetings yesterday. At least most of the time they stay by the basketball court. Kind of. Yeah. But at least if they're within that area.
Yeah, you can see. Not carry. There's somebody in there. Yes, he's told that. And my worst friend, you guys are like, they don't know how it is, it's not like, but. Okay, it's really less through, but it would be tired yet, you know, he's there at home. They just leave, but then our back to our lives are not.
I got into some here. So I said, they found one of your parents.
Oh, really?
But yeah, after track. Got dropped.
That's why I posted on Facebook. I posted that first video on Facebook. That first week was minimal. I'm gonna make it more. I don't want to post it in feed.
Yeah, all the people with your.
Oh, I'm sorry,
The things that annoy me most when I go to the park are kids on bikes and people with their dogs.
yeah.
Whether they're on a beach or.
I have a picture. So weird. I have a picture. Something signed that I don't have. I think they signed the post.
Oh, yeah. Too slow.
So much detail on that picture. It's such an ironic view, hilariously. Hilarious. Oh, look. You don't want, yeah, you know. And that was the second time we had.
People will have like lines painted as guys do, like there's a game here later, and people will let their dogs go in the middle of the white line. You didn't see all the people showing up to watch their kid play. There's something.
Yeah, and then that, you know. Residential, lot, and that's, these states are coming from things, many different types.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. Like, should have on good authority that we have one more number show, but. Yeah. July.
Yes, it was from June 3rd.
Yeah, well, that's probably what I was talking about. So,
Whatever, it was the same.
yeah.
Weird.
What did you say coming up here? So that you can. After fire.
If I was gonna do that, I would not, but that's.
There.
So, drive home. Okay. Bye.
We've,
You got there?
not sure yet. I'm on the-
Yeah. Okay, back. Oh. Nice. Here.
Don't mind. They had Anchorage had a good fall. That's what they.
Yeah.
Mayfair.
I've been in this situation before, like, just show up, like, we have 3, you get there to 60, you go like, oh, well, you said you need somebody, it's like. When I want more, so you can make another 2. He mentioned that he was trying to go to people, but I didn't know what to go. Sweet. We played Seattle too, I remember it. I was watching Japan and Sweden. Long ago, in 25 minutes, the US played true. So we're already pretty, we want to work it, standard. They tied on them.
Only just waiting.
The guy didn't got him for the last match. But all my teams that I'm rooting for, I'm still doing okay. Morocco's kind of down. I thought Senegal was gonna be pretty good. If the US can't win, we need to like they're Asia, one of them had to be it. No one from either outside of Europe or South America that will. It's like my take for the number 1. They're in like group death with France and England, France, Croatia. Senegal's pretty good. But if you look at the Senegal teams, a lot of those are actually French teams. They're just getting teams. Oh yeah, that might be Derek. I'm gonna. Okay. Oh. There's a kid from Alaska, who's the first Alaskan kid there, so I'm gonna look up. Obed Vargas, played for Mexico. So she grew up in Anchorage, and so he was like, he went to the Seattle Sounders Academy. But he played with the US like under 17, under 18, under 19, he's 20 now. And you get like 2 moves like the Olympic player. Changed his mind and played for Mexico, and he debuted in the first game. He's something like that. He had like shots on goal, but he he just signed with Atletico Madrid, which is like a 5-year deal. A ton of money. But it's funny because like I'm coaching his dad back in summer, like played for the club I played for when I lived in Anchorage. I was soccer camp last week. So we're telling him, like, yeah, we're watching the World Cup, and all excited about this. From Alaska, like in the game. Yes, kid played on the same terms. You played the same.
You better see how feel how they're.
Yeah.
20 years, it'll be a kid playing in the World Cup. Yeah. Played at big times.
So I do it, right? I hope. Yeah, well, it's interesting to go through like the high school season, watch like Okay, maybe find the agencies. There's one thing to say, we're gonna come to it's Thursday, oh god. I think they're like 2 minutes away. That sounds too bad. Good make that one there.
Oh, goodness.
It's not covered.
It's not gonna-
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be.
Okay. So, arts right now. So,
What if I wanted to? I could do.
what's our next meeting in October? Maybe go out in October. Good.
I know what I could do.
Nice might be a strong word, but it would be tolerable, probably.
Live streaming that.
You like the signage? Okay, good.
What's the brand color just for that?
I look.
Yeah, they don't have the color now, it's very good color. Yeah, there you go.
Just like this. That, like the. Well, or, yeah.
Right, here is the background. So then, what was developed stuff. And then this is the Aspen parking lot I inside, about 2 years ago. And I got, we're trying to do. We did, but we wanted it off. The love for the parking. And the first house on both of them. No, it's very long. Like this itself, or I want to say. Makes it easy. Thank you. That's the fun.
Anybody else?
74. 31.
I don't know. No comps.
Oh, no, they go like that.
I totally spaced it out first time. I just got back from Anchorage
Oh,
10 minutes ago.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Are we ready here? I'd like to call the June 15th, 2026, the meeting to order with the Parks and Rec Admin Assistant. Call the roll, please.
Dutiel has an excused absence. Via. Dolphin.
Here.
Vava. Oh, Penny Vava.
Here.
Queen.
Here.
Hawker. Scudder. And actually Scudder has an excused absence too, last minute. So you have a quorum.
Okay, that brings us item number 2, the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I second.
With no objections and approved, the agenda is approved. Brings us to number 3, the approval of the minutes at our January 8th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from January 8th, 2026?
I move to approve the minutes from January 8th.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Excellent. Okay. Minutes are approved. Brings us to number 4. We have scheduled public comments and presentations, of which there is nothing scheduled, which brings us all the way to number 5. We have our action items. Our first action item A is our public posting policy. I assume we need to bring a motion to discuss this since we're at yes? Yes. So is there a motion to bring this action item to the floor? This is action 5A, our public posting policy.
Move to bring action 5.1 public posting policy ahead. Thank you.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, may we have the report from staff, please?
All right, so this public posting policy is fairly straightforward. It's very similar to what the library does at their facilities. This came about just that we have a lot of public posting places at city parks and in city facilities, specifically run by Parks and Rec. So we thought we should put some guidelines on it. We were getting quite a bit of for sale and private business postings, and it just didn't really seem to be the right space for it. So we thought we would propose this. It has very similar guidelines to the library. Biggest ones to pay attention to would be that we will review every poster that gets published. It'll have to be a standard size, and then we'll remove them after a certain amount of time, which I believe is 30 days, unless they are recurring events. It can't be anything for profit, no items for sale, rent, or free distribution. We've been practicing this, but we would like to put this into official policy. We've allowed some lost pet posters. Those seem to make sense with our department. That is my report.
Okay, the subject is now open to discussion by the Parks and Recreation Board. Are there any board member comments regarding the public posting policy for Soldotna Parks? See no comments. This seems pretty common sense to me. I like it. So if there's no discussion, we can go ahead and move on to a vote.
Dutiel and Scudder have excused absences. Hawker is not here. Fava,
Yes.
Queen,
Yes.
Via,
Yes.
and Dolphin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. That moves us down to our next action item, 5B. This is our Riverview, Rotary, ARC, and Swiftwater Park sign proposal. Is there a motion to bring this to the floor?
I move to bring the Riverview Rotary, A.R.C, and Swiftwater Park sign proposal forward.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Excellent. Can we have the report from staff, please?
Thank you. This sign proposal is just to kind of put some wayfinding, placemaking signs at our parks. A lot of times with, especially Swiftwater, people drive down, read out, and they pass Swiftwater Park Road, which is easy to do. There's just one small little sign that says camping this way. And the same is true for Rotary Park. It's also easy to miss the driveway from Funny River into Rotary Park. For Arc Lake, a lot of people they know where it's at. It is a lot more visible since we did some tree clearing and the parking lot expansion and the beach expansion at Arc Lake. But still, it's the same kind of process where it would be easier to have a sign there for people to know where to turn versus sometimes even as you know, you're like, oh, is that the landfill? Or, you might pass it up. And Riverview is our neighborhood pocket park. It's small, it's cute. There's not a lot of parking there, but we did want to also include it in this process. And I will give bonus points, and I'll let you interject if anyone knows what ARC Lake stands for. Does anyone? It stands for Alaska Road Commission Lake. All right, so kind of a big picture is we are modeling this after a standard. It's fairly similar of the designs I mocked up, similar to the Aspen parking lot sign, which was designed by Inger Dede, and as well as the signs for the downtown improvement plan. So it really just tries to keep with a standardized city logo, font, style guide. The shape is what I mimicked it after also the Aspen parking lot sign, but wanted to have a little bit more embellishment and a little bit more beauty to the sign if we could. This could be a potential collaboration with SoHi, which we're excited about. I did chat with the vocations director at SoHi, and he agreed that come the fall, his students would help create the S logo and color of metal to put onto our signs, as well as potentially the wave graphic. So that would be an exciting collaboration, and to give it a slight three-dimensional look and a little bit more something to look at this with the sign. Our sign originally for what we were thinking for, the same as with the Aspen parking lot sign, is we had a contract with Alaska Sign Source, and he created a vinyl wrapped metal sign. But since then, we chatted with Streets and Maintenance, and they think they have the capacity to do metal on metal, similar to the sign that is at Centennial as well as Soldotna Creek Park. It's actually a metal sign with metal lettering that is raised in individual pieces versus just kind of like a sticker wrapped over a sign. So we're hoping to actually do the higher end metal on metal sign, and we're still kind of looking at budgets for that. So kind of the first location that we'll go through is Arc Lake. I went out and I took some photos and drew a little tape, pulled some tape. So kind of looking at sight distances, when you're looking at speed of Sterling Highway, it's 55 miles per hour there, so you do need a bigger sign. And then and so kind of looking at, we also need to be outside of the DOT right away. So that black little delineation on this map of the aerial imagery shows where the DOT right away is, and that is where we would be able to place the sign. We also chatted with the Denina Language Institute, and we wanted to incorporate the Denina language into our sign. And so we We asked them for their opinions and what they thought would be best. They came up with a name that says Where We Skate Around for Arc Lake. We're still kind of in a process of, is that appropriate, just since we haven't maintained an outside skating rink there for the past 2 years? So that might be changed come the future. You can stop me at any point in time too. This is pretty casual as far as my report goes. Next location is Rotary Park. So as you're driving down Funny River, there's this little driveway. This parking lot's not great. It's an eyesore too and a headache for us. But for the sign, it needs also to be within our property and not within DOT right away. So this black delineation on this aerial imagery is that DOT right away. Measuring from the curb, measuring, also keeping in mind with the speed limit on Funny River, which is 45. Again, it leads to us having a bigger sign, something that has larger font on it. And this is pretty small, but what was given to us is Where We Eat Salmon is what the Dena'ina language gave us, that translation. And then Swiftwater. Swiftwater is a bigger headache, and part of that is an interesting deep dive in that the parcel for Swiftwater Park Road is actually an unsubdivided remainder. What that means is that part of those roads have not been dedicated. Even half of East Redoubt to the north has not been dedicated. So technically that is, it's the road. It will never be taken away as assured from the Kenai Peninsula Borough plating. But for right now, and if there was to ever be any changes to the plat, they would need to dedicate both part of East Redoubt Road, part of or all of Swiftwater Park Road, part of Lingonberry, and then actually part of another street over here called Unnamed Street. So just a little tidbit history about Swiftwater is that the road currently is on, it's not on private property, but it is just an undedicated right of way at this point in time. Because of that, it's a little bit trickier. We're going to have to try and coordinate and just chat with the landowner, which we haven't done yet. So this one's a little bit more in limbo, and it might be more akin to having a temporary structure there. Maybe it is the vinyl wrapped sticker on a metal sign that is on Telspar on the side of the road for the here and now until that either gets dedicated or landowner permission. But we want to be sensitive to that. And then lastly is Riverview Park. And so this is a little park at Park. It's right by Miss Vadla's. Yeah, it's her personal park that we created for her and Scotty to play at. Riverview Park posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour. So it's pretty low speed, which means you can have smaller signs, smaller fonts with readability. And that was what we were going to. Also, the size of the park is small. Then it's a neighborhood park. We don't want to be overpowering. So our idea was to do a smaller scaled monument sign, probably similar to kind of if you think about the Starbucks sign that used to be in the Domino sign, about that shorter kind of stature of sign and about half that size. And this is the Aspen parking lot sign, kind of the dimensions of what goes into what we give the sign maker. And then I put this into ChatGPT and it gave me this rendition if you wanted to see what it could possibly look like, in real life.
So just that sign is at the corner, like closer to the corner of Kobuck?
Oh, well,
that
this is just ChatGPT, so you cannot trust anything, right, that it says. But what we were thinking, and again, there's room for changes, but right before, it's not on Kobuck, it's a little bit down on Riverview, where the parking area is in front of the swing, or the structure that has, what is it called? Sorry, Michaela. The spider web structure. I'm in front of that.
So going up, I'll just start at that one. I was going to look at the other ones first, but Riverview, that isn't really much of a parking lot. And there really isn't much signage that tells people to slow down because some of the people go down that road really fast because they get off the dirt gravel that's further on and then they get on this road and it's like, let's go a little faster. And I really like what you designed. I think it's fluid. I think it's I'm not going to say sexy, but it's really a sensational sign. I really like it. When I first looked at it, and I looked at it a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, a little bit, I thought that the actual sign maybe should be, when I looked at it, it should be a little curved up in the far right corner, but these will be high up in the air. Is that correct? I was worried about kids wanting to climb up on the top of that and slide down. So this point right there, I think it's really cool the way it is established. Would it be better to make that circular, which could be hard, because kids do like to, I don't know. And maybe that's not a good idea. That's something that you'd have to ask somebody who does a lot of signs that are in parks for kids, because I don't know enough about that, but I like the signs. I like the fact that you included the Denina and other, well, it's Denina, isn't it? Yeah, so I think that's really classy. I love the waves at the bottom, and I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'd like to see more signs on that road that people shouldn't go so fast. They want to get to the end. But
So actually, if you go back a couple of these, there's some questions on here, like what thickness should the sign be? You can kind of see in this rendering, it looks like that's like a foot wide. But if you actually look back here, it's probably closer to be closer to, let's say, 6 inches. So it would be a pretty treacherous climb for a kid, but I do see the point you're saying of the sharp edge. But I think they're going to be skinnier, relatively skinny.
so do we know that, oh, it's 3 feet by 9 feet. Well, that's an alternative. There's 8 foot by 7.5.
What we kind of started discussing already, this subject is now open discussion by all of the board. I don't know if you guys have further questions, or if we want to make comments or suggestions, now would be the time.
A couple of comments. I think the utilizing the Sohai shop kids would be great. Gives them a project they don't have to buy material for. And they actually do some pretty cool work in that shop. I don't know if you guys went to the district art show, but the welding shop did this like sculpture. I can't remember if it was like a dragon or something like that. It came out really awesome, or maybe a moose. I can't remember. Anyway, the other comment I had, and it's probably a nothing burger, but I feel if it ended up getting put that way and I hadn't said something, I'd feel bad. The Rotary Park sign, I think it's the only one that's on the other side of the road. We're gonna flip that the other way so the short side is on the highway side, because all of the other ones are low side to the highway. And I think it would make sense to have those all consistent.
To be honest, I just designed this in Canva and I just copy and pasted, but that's a good call. Thank you for.
I just got done with,
no.
With turnaround at the plant, and if you put it on paper, they put it in the field exactly like you put it. So,
It probably would have happened that way, so I would just was copy
like I
and
said,
paste. Thank you for
I'm sure
telling
you
me.
guys would have figured it out, but I just wanted to say it out loud so I could sleep tonight. No, I think these look great. Good job.
And the font will, Rotary, this looks really small. Again, I kind of copy and pasted. It'll be scaled to the sign to make it look a little bit better. This wouldn't be what I would send to the printer by any means.
I love them. I like the sign. I like what I consider water. And it's really fluid. I love that it's up off the ground, and those I would assume are different size bricks.
And again, that's what I was trying to create. That was the look. Is my idea is to have some type of facade, whether it's, the stone kind of paneling or if it's actual stone. I'd like to have a base that's a little bit prettier than what we currently have at the Aspen parking lot.
And if we do that, will the corners be rounded, or will the bases, kids won't be able to jump up there and then jump off, little kids? I mean, how high? I mean, I guess we can't make everything. I would jump off it.
If you build anything, a kid will climb it. So
I know.
It really doesn't matter how safety and rounded it is. If it's a thing that's climbable, someone will do it.
Yeah.
So that'll just be a supervision
Yeah,
issue.
I agree. I still jump off things with my granddaughter.
Well, I think we're pretty much in agreement. Anybody have comments or questions? Seeing none, we can go ahead and push this to a vote.
All right. Thank you. Do Teal and Scudder have excused absence? Hawker still is not present. Queen,
Yes.
Via,
Yes.
Dolphin,
Yes.
Vadla.
Yes,
Motion passed. Thank you.
All right, that brings us to action number 6, or item number 6, that is our reports. We've got our Parks and Recreation Assistant Director for her report.
Okay, we went ahead and put in here our 2025 annual report. It kind of walks through some different things that we worked on in 2025, and Jen put together quite a few statistics in here. I hope you've all had a chance to take a look at it. We'll kind of run through just a higher level, run through of this. Overall, 2025, the field house, things went really well. Nothing is perfect, especially not in the first year. We definitely learned a lot. One thing I keep pointing back to is we were talking about ordering furniture for the field house long before it opened, months and months, many quotes, many furniture salesmen in and out the door. And we decided, let's just wait and give it a year and see where people sit and see where people drop their bags and where they try to hang their coats up. And then we'll order furniture next year. And we're coming up on a year open and have discovered we maybe just don't need any additional furniture in there. People have kind of made their homes where they are, and the flexibility of the spaces without additional furniture to move all the time has been great. So it's nice to know that the decisions that seemed like maybe were just procrastination ended up being kind of successful. We hosted our youth sports in there this winter, and those went great. I don't think that we had an opportunity to speak on them, but we did. I don't know if I put that in here. I think I came to our last meeting with information on our youth sports. I guess those were really in 2026, so we'll talk about those next year. Last April, we hosted our first adaptive skate day. There's a picture up top here. It feels like a lifetime ago. But it was very fun. We had a lot of our participants that day requested an adaptive learn to skate. We're still trying to get some space on our own ice rink to host that, but we think it's needed in the community, and it was just really great to see everybody out there. We also started doing some story times in the park last year, which were in partnership with the library. We do those out at Farnsworth Park. We have really cool toys, but the library also has really cool toys, and they brought out this big parachute. Lots of youth, parent, child participation programs were hosted. I'd say it's one thing that all of us in the department are passionate about, is not only playing with kids and getting kids playing, but teaching parents and caretakers how to play with their children or how to play with children that they're around, so that it doesn't have to stop at our programs. It can go home with them, and then they can be at Penny's Park playing with their kids safely and not climbing on our signs. A huge shout out to our community volunteers. We had Kent Peterson hosted a juggling club there, which met on Fridays. We had some pickleball instructors. The pickleball community is alive and well. Yeah, looking ahead, we're expanding our programming. We're getting ready to host a pickleball tournament in conjunction with the Kenai River Pickleball Association coming up this month, actually, next month. Which that association has really gotten off the ground due to the construction of the field house and more opportunity to play locally. Let's see, jumping ahead to staffing changes. We had quite a few staffing changes this past year with the opening of the field house. Some of the most significant ones, or they were all significant. Any change to staffing in our department is significant. But we reclassed our admin assistant position from part-time to full-time, brought Jen on board, which was wonderful. We added a full-time field house recreation coordinator, Emily. She has been great as well. There's no other field house coordinators in our town, so there wasn't a pool of field house coordinators to draw from, and she's really come in and made the position her own, and just really done great work over at the field house. We added a full maintenance 2 position, as well as retitling those positions from laborer and maintenance employee, I think is what it was called before, to a maintenance 1 and a maintenance 2 position to kind of give it that tiered progression. So we added a full-time maintenance 2. We promoted internally and then hired one of our seasonals into the vacant position. We changed the title and scope of some of our other positions just to make it more cohesive. So now we have a general recreation specialist position, which is those folks that are leading programs. They're out on the field or out on the courts with the participants. And then we have a recreation aide, which is more of a behind the front desk position. And overall, we have a really great team right now. We've got a few people out on injuries, but overall, we feel really strong. Not to get out of this 2025 year end report, but we also have a great team this summer. Probably one of our strongest summer crews, definitely since I've gotten here, but possibly in a while. So we're fully staffed, we're fully operating. We had great applicants and a good pool to pull from, so we're happy over there. And I'm going to pass the mic over to Jen to talk about some of our campground stats.
We actually talked about this at a previous meeting, but this is where we had given this to council and to our other staff at City Hall. We ran some hard numbers on Centennial, Swiftwater, and Rotary Park. Our campgrounds, I think we have local residents who get the day use pass and love them, but really they're heavily used by our visitors and our tourists, both in state and out of state. We get calls multiple times a day right now about, do you think there's going to be availability in 2 weeks when I drive my RV up there? They're highly demanded, but I think as residents, we don't always see the campgrounds as being so important to some people, especially our visitors. So, and we do support a lot of nights. If you're thinking about it, we had almost 114,000 visits to Centennial Campground, which is kind of blows your mind. And that includes day use as well as camping. And then Swiftwater is still a lot. It's more than we expected, honestly, when we were crunching the numbers, and it's about 62,000. And Rotary, for as small as it is and as hidden as it is, people gravitate towards it. So, and those numbers we grabbed from a program called Placer AI, and it utilizes cell phone data and it extrapolates. If you agree to let Instagram or Facebook track your location, it uses that type of third-party data, and based on some factors, it'll say, oh, your census data shows that you're in this level, and it kind of gives us these really interesting breakdowns of who might be in our parks and who might be using our campgrounds. And that's how we came up with these numbers. And we've tested these numbers kind of against, let's say the library does a door counter, and we pulled the library's numbers and tested, what we see, as well as the chamber sometimes will take aerial imagery from a drone and count the number of people in a snapshot. And we're pretty close. Beer Fest, the number of wristbands that they sold versus what we were seeing on our data for that one weekend, it's surprisingly close at times. So these numbers, even though they seem big and it's hard to believe, it feels like based on other instances where we fact checked them, it's believable. Nights of camping, we're seeing a lot of nights camping, both Swiftwater and Centennial, and it's a lot considering at night you might just have one teenager or 20-something-year-old in a booth, and a campground host. So to have this much activity and managed well without a lot of complaints, it goes to show that we've kind of figured out how to run the process. And we also have a lot of boat launches. So some of the area guides utilize our boat launches, both at Swiftwater and Centennial, to run their business. We, kind of as a tidbit, we sell more than just camping spots. We sell bundles of firewood. So right now we have laborers on their free time. They'll go bundle beetle kill that was chopped down, and we sell that. We have contracts with selling bags of ice for ease, and we had more ice sold last year because of the huge run of fish than you would believe. It was warm and a lot of fish. And then just kind of day use passes, and day use passes really are kind of our locals. So we're seeing a lot of locals still use our campgrounds. That kind of takes it for our campgrounds, and then to shift gears to A.R.C. Lake. We had a Arc Lake Beach expansion project, and so if you can think about what this looked like prior, it was pretty small. It was a little muddy. The parking lot was honed in with trees, and maybe some people were hanging out too late and getting in trouble with mom and dad. So we cleared out the parking lot so it was a little bit more visible to see, and it's a lot more family friendly now. The beach area is expanded. I went out there to look at the Kids Don't Float and the life jackets on Monday, and there was 3 people in kayaks, there was a person swimming, and there was about 10 people fishing just on a Monday afternoon. So it's great to see that expansion effort being well utilized. We also purchased 2 pieces of equipment that are super exciting for our maintenance guys to use. It's a Bobcat and a Ventrac attachments. The Ventrac aerator helps to aerate the lawn. Our lawn at Soldotna Creek Park gets used to death with the high traffic, so it's helping keep it healthier. And then the Bobcat, they've had a lot of fun with this attachment as they're maintaining the sidewalks during the heavy snow years, the heavy snow season that we had at times. And then we talked last year also about summer ice expansion. City Council voted to extend the ice season. That was at the request of the Kenai Peninsula Hockey Association. And it really had some great use. It seemed like a lot of kids had a lot of fun. So we kind of ran the number of skaters per available hour of ice, and kind of we were looking at, at any given time, there might be 16 to 10 kids out there on the ice. And then the skaters per day, we saw up to 200 skaters per day. On some weeks it was pretty low, but it was good to see that it was well utilized for the camps. We also did Soldotna Creek Park improvements. If you can kind of remember, prior we had just gravel paths, and now we have paved paths, and that's a great benefit for sometimes with the Wednesday market and the food trucks, but also for accessibility. And so it's great to see that as people who might not be as sure-footed being able to utilize Soldotna Creek Park. We also expanded a really cool link that goes from Soldotna Creek Park to Homestead Lane. And so if you were to walk now, there's a sidewalk that walks by the brewery, by River City Books, by Lucy's, and you can actually then meet up with a gravel path. If you haven't done it, please do it. And then you can go down Lingonberry and you can go to Swiftwater. So it's nice to have a little bit more of a step of what we would hope to have a continued trail that would connect Soldotna Creek Park with Swiftwater. And then lastly, kind of just looking at visitor trends. This is my mistake, which I was talking about earlier. I forgot to put the access title here. So just looking at what is our usage? What are we seeing year over year on a really big picture? And these also astounded us. So we use that Placer AI data again. For our Soldotna Creek Park, we're seeing, just almost 400,000 people in a year. And then for the ice arena and the campgrounds, it's a lot. It's heavy usage. And we also wanted to look and see is staffing adequate? So this is for Soldotna Creek Park. Record maximum in 2025 was June 18th, and we had 12,524 people on one Wednesday right there, which is a ton of people. But what's interesting is you look at this shape of this graph and you compare it with the ice arena, and it's the exact opposite, which bodes really well that we can staff, when we have downtime at the ice arena, we can staff the park. And that's all I have. So if you have any questions on my part or Michaela's part, please let us know.
And if I can jump in just really quick, the Placer AI data sometimes weirds people out, especially when you start talking about parks and playgrounds. But I do want to put out there, Placer AI has no way to track children, and they don't track children. They have some ratios that they use where for each adult you get 0.75 kids or whatever our local ratio is. So if anybody listening is hearing that.
And it's not individualized. So we can't tell, oh, Penny was over at the park. It's really, it's hidden. There's a lot of privacy issues that people would have concerns of, but we don't see anything on an individual basis by any means. We don't know cell phone numbers. We don't know anything besides maybe some bigger levels, Census Bureau stats of, your socioeconomic status, potentially your race, but it's all extrapolated based on the few people that do share their data with third-party apps on your phone. And they're only tracking you if you give it permission. So if you don't want permissions, go into your phone settings and turn them off.
And you can see where they come from and where they go. So where their home base is, not each person, but 60% of people are from the local area, 40% are from Anchorage, 10% are from Guam or wherever they're coming from. And then you can see where they go as far down as like everybody after Wednesday music in the park goes to Taco Bell, or everybody goes to wherever. So that's been really fun to look at for the ice arena, that most people are leaving the ice arena and going to Taco Bell or McDonald's. So.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for the reports. Do we have any additional questions or follow-ups for these two ladies?
I have a couple of follow-ups. Number one, I'm really happy they reclassed you full-time because I can see the difference in what you can attain by having that extra time and doing an incredible job. I really like that. When you get students, and on page 6, you mentioned the campground, the students that come, do you have kids that come every year that are students, or are they older people?
For our staffing, yeah, we do get quite a few returners. A lot of times we'll catch somebody, they'll apply in high school. We're one of the only locations that still hires 14 and 15-year-olds. So we'll get people in high school, they'll stick around, then they'll go off to college and make a little bit more money. But we did raise that wage just last year, in the middle of last year. And then I don't know, I'm attributing it to this. I don't have all of the details, but the number of applications that we got was off the charts this year. We had maybe almost 90 applicants for the campground attendant position. And I mean, the wage increase was necessary just to fill the positions, but also it's a demanding job. You're working all hours of the day and dealing with the best people and the worst people. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. I think that's really important for kids to get that, and if they get somebody to help train them, then they know they have certain skills as they move forward. So I really appreciate that. I like the things, actually, I want to run those equipment. I don't know if I want to do the Ventrac or the Bobcat, but I know you won't let me. So, and I like that it aerates the lawn. That's wonderful. I mean, because it saves time, doesn't it? Even though it was costly. I like that you extended the ice usage. I think that's important. And there was something else I had, but now I can't find it. Yeah, I think that's it. And I like that you raised a little bit of the financial benefits for the students, because some of them sometimes get lost in the summer because nobody wants to hire them because they're kids. So thank you.
Has there been any movement on the Centennial dump station?
It's a great question. There has been some movement. I don't know all of the details on it, but I could get back to you on it. We had heard that Fred Meyer dump station was going to be open this season, and hopefully that would be enough for Soldotna, but I'm not positive that they're up and operational. They are. Okay, good. I saw a sign that said they weren't, and I didn't want to believe it, but right now we're directing everybody to Fred Meyer.
The benches, how many benches are up there in the field house? Well, that's a big one, isn't it?
I want to say there's 4 currently.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you mentioned ordering furniture. Was the furniture more benches, or was furniture like furniture?
Yeah, the original thought was some lounge furniture that parents could sit on while they're watching their kids, do sports, or possibly kids could do their homework there while their parents are playing sports. But currently we have a purchase order open for some more benches.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you to order more benches because I saw some of I like to think I'm 27, but I'm really 37. So a lot of the people that I see walking are close to my age or way over my age, and they like those benches. And so I asked a woman can I help you go to the next bench? And she said, no, I'll walk beside you. And it was really nice. But I think those benches are really comfortable. I was surprised when I sat down on it, and I think it adds to the whole, what the experience is like. And so that's why I wanted to ask that last thing on benches. Thank you for getting those.
Other comments or questions?
I just want to say thank you for all the hard work and all the help in the park this summer. It's been amazing. It's been a good summer. And to see those numbers is pretty incredible.
Scary.
I know, it's a lot of people in the park and I think it's gone really well. All the staff, they just do an amazing job. So I'm very thankful. Yeah, it's a big job. And I'm excited, yeah. And that bin track, I think, is making a huge difference in the park. I think the grass is better than ever. Yeah, it's been really nice. So it's exciting, an exciting summer.
It has been fun to look back on this data because this is all 2025 data, and anecdotally, at least, as we've been out in the parks and things have been going, it would seem that the trends that have been established by these data points are continuing. There's been tons of people in the park. There's been tons of people in town. You go through, I avoid this Sterling Highway on a Wednesday if I can do it because I know I'm getting stuck in traffic and lots of stuff going on. So definitely good things happening. Well, thank you guys for your reports. That brings us to letter B, which would be my report. I do not have a lot to report. I spent a significant amount of my time in fall and winter of 2025, 2026 in the field house, kind of volunteering or working various different programs. And I did see our scheduling and everything kind of as we made it through kind of the busy season towards spring. Things are started to fall into place, and then kind of the scheduling policies somewhat it didn't really change, but they got more solidified. So even now, I'm talking with user groups and people where we're planning stuff, for October and November of this coming year. So we have plans further out, which I think would just further help everything be organized and run smoothly. I also think the city programming, whether it was indoor soccer or flag football, seemed super popular. And a lot of people are kind of clamoring for those things to come back. Which again, after you've run a program for a year or two, you can kind of streamline it. So we'll, know how many participants to expect and how many volunteers to need and how many referees to hire and those type of things. So definitely lots of good things happening. And like I said, for me personally, I am looking forward to the fall to get back into the field house as the weather and snow comes to force us in there. I will say, just from a personal standpoint, I spent a lot of time with high school players in the field house over the winter. And at least for us personally at SoHi, it worked out. Both the boys and girls programs were very successful. The boys team, we won the state championship, and the girls team was right there on the cusp. So, and not just for Saldana players as well, we saw the Kenai teams also is very successful, and those kids were utilizing those facilities as well. So already, even after such a short time, we're seeing an uptick in the type of activities that are taking place in there. So definitely positive for the community, and we appreciate everybody's work. And that about does it for me, which brings us to our city council member. Do we have a city council member to report? Oh, yes, sorry.
Thank you. Jordan had to step down from the advisory committee because he needed to spend more time between work and his family. Things were just getting out of control, and the mayor asked for volunteer, and I raised my hand. A number of things. First, last night at the council meeting, we made some amendments to the FY27 budget, some budget increases. One of the budget increases that we included was for adding $30,000 to Kenai Peninsula Community Pools. I have to remember to say pools. And should this organization reach an agreement with the school district and the borough, the city would provide that money to the organization, but they have to come back with a signed agreement. Unfortunately, for both the swim clubs here in Soldotna and in Kenai, they have not seen an agreement, and that is coming through the mayor's office, who's going to send it somewhere. But the mayor's office is taking the lead, but the agreement is with the school district. So we hope that that comes together. The outreach from the community was overwhelming in terms of support of keeping the Sohi pool open. The community really wants to keep the pool open and to keep those swim clubs alive. Also at our meeting last night, we adopted a resolution providing Parks and Rec to move forward with getting a storage unit for the field house. Cost about 1.8 million is the budget at this point. And that was approved by the council. We adopted a 5-year capital improvement plan. And as part of that plan, one of the things that was done a few meetings ago was we increased effective January 1st of 2027, an increase to the sales tax of 0.5%. So if you spent $500 on purchases here in Soldotna, it would add $2.50 to your overall purchase. So it's not a significant increase. The funds that we get from that will be dedicated strictly to capital improvement program. So if you look at the 5-year plan, you'll see a number of projects in there, particularly with respect to the ice arena. The council realizes that we need to replace the rink at the arena. And it is currently scheduled, I believe, in next year for funding, and how we get the funding and where we get the funding. Overall, there's 3 different projects for the ice arena. Over the 5-year period, you total them all together, and it's about $10 million for improvements that would be made to the ice arena. And there's a few other projects in there. And then I believe the city manager will probably next year, because the other pot of money that you have to use is from the lodging tax. And those funds are dedicated to chamber and parks and recreational activities. And it's specified in the code specifically what those funds can be used for. So some of the playground equipment that needs to be replaced at various parks could come from that pot of money. And there's I believe, around $400,000 in that right now. So after another year, you will see, maybe close to $750,000. We'll see. Having the field house, having the ability to have year-round activities in Soldotna does increase the number of people coming to town. The last thing I would note is there is a competition going on right now between the city of Kenai and the city of Soldotna as to who can raise the most for the Kenai Peninsula Food Bank. And it's poundage wise is what it's based on. And so every pound in the can counts for what it is, but for $2 is the equivalent of 1 pound. At this point in time, Soldotna is in the lead by a bit, but we would like to beat him. And my goal is hopefully that we are able to get to 7,500 pounds.
And this ends on June 30th. So it's only through the month of June. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilmember Parker. Any questions for you?
Good question.
Of course.
Yeah. 30,000 to the Kenai Peninsula pools. Is that the Kenai Peninsula pools or the city of Soldotna?
So the money, the organization that was established by Will Lee is called Kenai Peninsula Community Pools. And it's a nonprofit that has been set up and they're operating under bridges right now. So the money would go to that nonprofit organization. The city itself does not want to be in the business of operating or maintaining a facility that we don't own.
Thank you for that. And that was sort of my question, and I thought that might be the answer. But $30,000 doesn't go very far. And so I wonder if there are other avenues we can look at, because when those pools close, it's going to be really difficult for kids if they are fishermen or just swimmers that jump in the lake in the summer.
I know that Mr. Lee has been working on fundraising and getting organizations and individuals to help. I think under the agreement that they're trying to negotiate, the maintenance of the pool itself would stay with the borough, who owns the building and does the maintenance right now anyway. So they would keep the maintenance of the facility, and this organization would just operate and have the lifeguards and do the scheduling and collect revenues. They're looking at keeping it open on a longer basis than what the school district has been doing, making it easier for individuals to come in and do lap swims or whatever it is that they wanted to use the pool for. But contact Mr. Lee.
Other questions or comments? All right, thank you, Councilmember Parker. And we don't have Jordan for our number 7 ex-officio council members. So that brings us to number 8, which is our board member comments. Any comments from the board? No. Seeing none, that we can adjourn this meeting. Our next regular meeting of the Sultana Parks and Recreation Advisory Board will be held on October 1st, 2026. The meeting will be at 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chamber. Thank you.